And this is Wendy. She's going to be
Hi,
helping
Wendy.
today.
Do you want me to just sit here?
Yeah, this is great. This is great. So the purpose of the study today is to look at HBO Go using Google's Daydream headset.
Okay.
And, they released this over the holiday season, so it's a pretty new thing to the market. So it's a great time for this kind of feedback. Basically, I'll have you kind of take a look, do a few things. It's not a test in terms of like, can she do this?
Right.
But more having you try some things and take a look around. It'll help us kind of understand ways that we can improve the design. So I'm not the designer. My job's to meet with you and others and sort of collect feedback and input on the experience, and then I share that with the team. So I'm not gonna, be offended by anything that you have to say or be impacted at all, positive or negative. It's all just really helpful, and really anything that you're noticing. It's kind of just good to know what comes to mind for you as you're doing things.
Okay, great.
So we're going to be recording the session as well, so I don't have to take mad notes as we're sitting here. And Wendy's going to be helping, and I have a note taker behind the glass there too. But any questions though? No. Okay. So I think I saw that you have a little experience using headsets. Is that right? Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that.
I have an Oculus that I use at home. Not really a whole lot. Just kind of just starting to use the technology. Trying to find games on it that I like, and my boyfriend downloaded a bunch of filters, and so we've mostly just been kind of playing around with it casually.
Yeah.
From what I understand, you can actually stream video with the headsets.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of what we'll be doing today.
Yeah, so I haven't done any of that yet. Really just games and stuff. So.
Yeah. What kind of games have you found to be kind of
there's I can't remember the name of either one of the games, but there's one that's like a Jurassic Park one, and then there's a space one that's kind of cool.
Okay.
And then I saw an ad. It wasn't an ad, actually. It was just a video clip from gameplay for this one game that just looked like a lot of different fractal designs and things, and I've been meaning to hunt that one down. Can't remember the name of it, but I saw it on Facebook and it looked really neat.
Yeah. What kinds of things attract your attention, or would you be excited about?
I like a lot of abstract designs, and I like things that are science fiction related or history related, that kind of stuff. I guess those kinds of things would attract my attention most.
Great. Let's see. I guess I'll start by giving you a little bit of an intro to what's going on with this headset. So I don't know if you're familiar with Google's Cardboard setup at all.
No, I'm not.
That's okay. So basically with this kind, the phone gets popped in and closed, and you wear this like ski goggles.
Oh, okay. I guess
essentially.
I have those then.
Yeah. So this came out, as I mentioned, kind of over the holiday season. It's their first generation of headsets. So, our focus today really isn't so much on the headset and the controller itself, more on kind of what you're seeing, through HBOs. But in some cases, the use of the headset or the controller may kind of impact what you're doing. So any feedback is helpful.
Okay.
Just wanted to kind of let you know that. So we'll get that set up in a minute. A little bit about their controller. So there's basically 3 buttons. You don't need to memorize this. Okay. I'll just kind of giving you the background a little bit so you're not surprised later. So there's this one, and that'll be the one that's closest to you. This here, which you actually don't need to use for anything.
Okay.
If you do use it, it takes you from, we'll start you out in HBO's app. If you use that, it takes you out of it into kind of Google's start screen. Okay. And you'll notice that because it's kind of cartoonish and looks like a garden with a lot of things to pick. So if you push that, it's no problem. Okay. We don't need to do that. We'll just kind of get you back into HBO if that happens. Up here is sort of a touch zone where up, down, left, right. Kind of like your remote at home for TV. is up buttons, down, left, right, and then the center is like click to press
Okay.
to select
So
something.
is it you'd like slide your finger?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, sort of like a touchpad.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it is a touchpad, just a circle. So that's a little bit about that. I will say that, you know, since the Google's Daydream is a little bit newer and it's their first one, you may notice as you're going through that if you're pointing this,
Mm-hmm.
that there's like a dot that appears to show you where you're pointing. Okay. You may notice that you're holding it straight out, but the dot's like over here. If you hold this button down for like a couple seconds, like hard press, it'll shift back.
Oh, okay.
So it may prompt you to do that on its own, or you may find like something's off. It may be that it's off just a little bit, or if you find that you're kind of like feeling like you need to turn your whole body, that's a good time to kind
just
of
hold it
reset
down.
your view.
Okay.
Yeah, and if I see something, I'll say, hey, it's kind of off. Do you want to do that? And you can decide if you do it or not. But that's it. I just want to give you that little intro so you're not surprised later.
Sure.
It'll be easier to explain later, when, but it'll be harder to explain later if you have the headset on. All right. So that just sort of clips in if you have to do this later. So you can go ahead and put it on, and these two like little slider things here will help the fit on the back. And just whenever you're comfortable, I can hand you the remote.
Okay.
Something also you may find too that you can put your hands on the two sides of the thing, and if you adjust it up, down, left, right a little bit, there may be a sweet spot for you where it's a little bit more clear.
Oh, okay. Oh, actually, that helped a lot.
Yeah, here you go. I don't know why, but it's a thing. So feel free to kind of readjust as you need. So in this case, to get you started, it has you, if you want to hold that button down that's closest to you, there you go. Okay. And then it'll start up in just a moment. And just to let you know too, anytime you feel like you want to take a little break, it's not a problem. I've sort of built that into our study time, so just let me know.
All right.
Okay, so now that you've got that headset adjusted and everything, take a look around. Tell me a little bit about what you're seeing and what you can do here.
Let's see. I see, looks like an option to select Big Little Lies inside episode 4. So it kind of looks like a TV menu, like you might see with like an HBO app, or sometimes I use the Xfinity website to watch TV, and so there will be little ads like this.
Okay. Great. So any thoughts about what you're seeing in general?
Not really. It's just, like I said, it's just a picture of, it's like a menu picture.
Okay. And let's say you have some time to yourself and you want to find something to watch. Where would you get started?
I might look on Hulu and see, or do you mean in general or in
Yeah,
here?
just in here, yeah.
In here?
Yep.
Let's see. I can't. Look over here. Oh, it went dark. Oh, I pressed the concave button.
Okay. And so before you do anything, tell me a little bit about what you were expecting to happen.
I thought that might be like a selection button, and maybe I could move on to like another menu option.
Okay. So to go back in, so this is what the Daydream environment looks like. So if you go to the bottom left, it says HBO Go.
Yes.
And you can click on that.
Should I press that same button?
If you move your thumb all the way to the top of the remote, yep, and just hit the center.
Oh, okay. I see.
Okay, yeah, so from there.
Okay, so if I just slide my finger, then it'll show me different things. I see.
Okay, so if you had some time and wanted to find something to watch, how would you go about finding something?
Well, I would probably scroll down through the menu and look for a TV series that looked interesting. I've been more interested in TV series lately than movies.
Okay.
So right now I'm looking at something that says collections. So I'm just kind of scrolling through that to see if any TV shows look interesting.
Okay, and what does collections mean to you?
To me, I thought it would be like HBO specific TV shows, but it looks like it's actually TV shows and movies that fall under one theme.
Okay.
Which also makes sense to me. I'm just gonna adjust the headset a little bit.
Sure. And again, if at any point you need to reset what you're seeing so that it feels more straight on, just put your head like in the view that's comfortable, the direction, and then hold that button down that's closest to you, and it'll reset. Yeah, and you can do that at any time.
Oh, okay. That's really handy.
So how's it going so far in finding something interesting to watch?
So far I really haven't seen anything that's piqued my interest. It's been a lot of movies, so I'm probably going to move to a different menu, move out of the collections.
Okay.
There we go. Oh, there we go. Sorry, it's a little bit blurry.
Oh, that's fine.
So now I'm looking at a menu that says series.
When you said it was blurry, was it getting harder to see things, or?
Yeah, it was getting harder to kind of make out some of the words on the screen. I think it might just be the headset itself. Maybe it needs to be cleaned a little bit. Just a little blurry right in the middle.
Okay. If you'd like, we can easily swap that out right now if you want to take a break for just a minute.
Actually, that might be easier
Okay.
to see.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Here's a new one.
Okay, thank you. Just make sure that. Yeah, and sorry about our little hairnet here.
Oh,
We only
that's
have a few of these, so we just they're just a little kind of bamboo fibers to.
Sorry, just checking this a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
There we go. That's actually a lot better.
Oh, good. Thanks for bringing it up and making sure we could be the clearest that we have available.
So right now I'm on the menu for series, and I'm just kind of going through and seeing what's here. As far as it goes that way.
Okay, any thoughts on what you're seeing here?
So I watch Westworld is a show I actually watch, so I'd probably click on that and see if there was any new content out, or anything about when the next season comes out. It looks like I've seen all of this.
Okay. So did you find what you were looking for with the Westworld information?
It didn't have any information about season 2, which I would have been, why I would go in there. But I mean, it provided enough information to tell me whether or not I wanted to stay in that portion of the menu. So now I'm gonna look at Silicon Valley. I heard that this show's really good. And now just reading about the show.
Yeah. So how's that going, reading about the show?
It's a little blurry, and it's almost like the letters are pixelated. If I push the headset closer to my face, it's a little easier, but it still kind of dances around a little bit.
Okay. That's helpful feedback. Thanks. So find and play an episode of Silicon Valley.
Okay. It says remove your phone from your Daydream headset.
Okay. And what would you do at this point?
If I was like at home or something, I'd just take it off and take the phone out and maybe try putting it back in and see if there's some kind of issue with it maybe not seated in there correctly.
Okay, so let's say you are at home, and I would say go ahead and do whatever you would do.
Okay.
Any thoughts on how that went?
It seemed like it went okay, except now the menu isn't popping back up.
Okay.
It's kind of a cool feature that it makes it look like you're in a little private theater.
Okay.
I like that.
I'll ask more about that in a little bit. So at this point, what would you do? What's going on?
So I'm not seeing any kind of menu screen. So I just pressed that kind of concave button.
Okay.
And it took me back out to that garden menu. So let me go ahead and click on the HBO Go VR app again. And there's a little back button. I'll click that. Back to the series page. I might have been a little hasty with the back button.
Okay.
So now I'm just trying to
Yeah. So you're still trying.
go back to Silicon Valley.
Yeah, that's your goal.
There we go. Yeah, and it's giving me the same error message again every time I try to play that episode.
Okay, and then what is it? Why do you think that's showing up?
I'm really not sure.
Okay.
I might see if maybe I can try a different episode and see if it's just an issue with the device communicating about that one. No, it seems like it's any of them. So
Okay.
in that case, I might try a different show. So I'll try Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. Yeah, same error message.
Okay. So at this point, what would you do?
If I was at home and this kept happening, then I might just change to a different activity.
Okay.
I don't have a whole lot of experience with, I actually don't have any experience trying to stream video content with one of these headsets.
Okay.
So I don't have a whole lot of ideas on how to troubleshoot it.
Okay.
I might restart my phone. If I was really dead set on watching content through this headset, and I just couldn't get it to work, then I might get online and see if anybody else had this same issue, or if there's like any frequently asked questions about what's going on with it or how to troubleshoot it.
Okay. Great. So at this point, why don't you get to that screen again with the error message,
Okay.
or with the message that you're saying.
Okay.
And go ahead and follow the steps that they're telling you on the screen.
Let's see, I haven't tried doing it like this where I take it off while I'm wearing it. No, that didn't do anything either. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I took the phone out. That didn't do anything.
Okay.
Wow. I've reset it. I'm seeing that, but sideways.
Oh, okay.
So,
So then what would you do at this point?
let's see. Does this work if I'm not wearing it?
This is all really helpful feedback, by the way.
Okay.
So.
Oh, no, it looks like it's working again. Okay. So it doesn't really give me any steps other than removing the phone from the headset, and then when I put it back in, it starts working again.
Okay. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and find Silicon Valley and play an episode of that again.
Same thing.
Okay. So let's go ahead ahead and remove the phone again from the headset.
Should I take it off?
Yeah,
Okay.
probably easiest. And I'm going to show you a different part of the app.
Okay.
And then we'll get there
All right.
doing this. So go ahead and tell me about what you're seeing there.
So I'm seeing the HBO Go menu, and it says either sign in or return to VR. And so
Okay.
probably in this case I'd click return to VR because I don't have your sign in.
Okay, well, I do have some information that we can use to get into the next
Okay.
part. So go ahead and kind of take whatever the next step is to sign in.
Okay. So click sign in.
Okay.
And then it says choose your TV provider.
And for this, we'll use HBO Guest.
Okay. All right.
And then you can use this information.
Okay. And then should I put it back in?
Yeah.
Okay. So now it says parental controls enabled. So I just click OK. All right.
Any thoughts on seeing parental controls at that point?
No, not really. If I was to see a screen like that at home, I would probably just ignore it because I don't have children, unless it was preventing me from watching something, and then I might go into the settings and deal with it then.
Okay. Great. So go ahead and do what you would do to watch Silicon Valley.
Okay, so it looks like play. It looks like it's kind of in the midst of an episode already. Yeah, it's a few minutes in. Okay. All right. So now it's playing, but I don't have any volume.
Okay. That's okay for the purposes of
Okay.
our study.
All right.
But we'll pretend you do have
Okay.
volume. Let's say you want to fast forward to just about 10 minutes.
Okay, let's see. So I'm just clicking on the scroll bar at the bottom, and I'm about 10 and a half minutes in now.
Okay. And you were looking at some other options at the bottom, or?
Yeah, so there's a pause option, and then I assume this skips me back 10 seconds, and this one jumps me forward 10 seconds. And then there's a closed caption option over here, and then now I do see where the volume option is up at the top.
Okay. And thinking about your fast forwarding to 10 seconds, how did that go?
That was pretty easy. When I first tried to rewind it, when I was first starting the episode, I kind of held it down and dragged it, which was more difficult. But by just kind of hovering over the scroll bar and clicking where I wanted it to go, that was much easier.
Okay. That sounds like you kind of quickly kind of tried a few things and then found something that. Is there anything that we could do to make that easier, or?
No, I think the clicking on the scroll bar, like where you want to be in the show, that would be the best way to do it. Having to hold it down and drag your finger, that was definitely more difficult. It works, but that was more difficult.
Okay. And what would you do to turn the volume up?
Turn the volume up. I'd go. So the volume option is up here, and then I imagine you could just click on the volume scroll bar the same way you would with where you would be in the show.
Okay. And then how about turn on closed captioning?
So I saw that down in the corner over here, so I just click on it.
And how do you know that's closed captioning?
The CC is kind of the universal closed captioning, and since I clicked on it, it's opened up a closed caption menu.
Okay. And thoughts about what you're seeing here?
I noticed that there's a lot of options, which I've noticed that some other providers give a lot of options for closed captions. Personally, I'm fine with the traditional white closed captions, kind of more like subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them do like the white with the black background.
Is that something that you use?
On occasion, if I can't hear it very well, in general, I find closed captions to be kind of annoying because I read faster than I'm listening to what they're saying, and then I get ahead of the show.
Okay.
I don't mind a lot of closed caption settings, except that with providers, I think Hulu is one in particular, that every time I turn on closed captions, I have to go in and change the settings again. It doesn't save my preferences.
I see.
And that's really annoying to me. So if a menu is going to offer a lot of options, then I prefer it save my settings.
So at this point, have you turned them on?
No, I didn't. I just looked at the menu. Would you like me to turn them on?
Yeah, if you go ahead and turn them on.
All right, let's see. Don't know if that turned it on or not. Let's see. Yeah, that worked.
Okay, and read me a little of what they're saying.
Let's see, and the compression is totally lossless.
Okay, great. So what would you do? Let's say you missed something and you want to back up to see what they just said.
If it's something that I had just missed, I'd click on this. Looks like back 10 seconds. Yeah, that seems to be what it is.
Okay. And pause. What would you do to pause?
There we go.
And how did that go?
I had to click down at the very bottom of the screen a couple of times to get it to come up. At first I kind of thought if I just hovered in this area that the menu might come up on its own, but it seems as though you have to actually click to make it come up.
Great. So now let's turn off closed captioning. Okay, and then play again. So let's say you're liking what you're seeing, you're into the show, and you want to watch the next one. How would you watch the next episode?
Let's see. Probably would just go back to the menu and scroll down to the second episode, which is where I'm hovering now.
Okay, so go ahead and start that.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say from, you get into watching a little bit and you realized you've already, want a different one. Can you find the 6th episode of the 2nd season?
6th episode of the 2nd season? I just clicked on season 2, and I'm trying to slide side to side, but it's only wanting to go up and down.
Okay.
trouble before.
Mm.
Oh, I see.
What's that?
Oh, I was trying to slide side to side, and I didn't realize that the episodes were just 3 across. I was assuming that they were all just running in a row, and there's more episodes down below, so it's just my fault.
Oh, no. That's helpful feedback.
There we go.
Great. So, let's say you're watching and you get interrupted and you have to get up and go do something.
Okay.
How would you make sure that you could watch it again when you were able to come back?
So I just hit the pause button, and then I guess if I was going to be gone for a while and I had to completely close out of it, I would hope that the app would kind of remember where I left off the next time I went into that episode.
Okay.
But if I was only going to be gone for a short time, then I might just turn off the screen on my phone, just set it down and walk away and leave the app still open.
Okay. So go ahead and let this play for a little bit. And okay, if you can describe to me what you're seeing now.
Okay. So right now I'm not seeing anything.
Okay. We'll just give it a minute.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll. Actually, this would be a good time for a break then, and we'll switch out the phone to something else.
Right.
And if you want to sip a coffee or
I could use the restroom.
yes, absolutely, it's a great time. I'll show you where that is.
Yeah.
I got your stuff. All right. Cool, thanks. Get a quick time check. Okay, great. Thanks. All right. I think we're good to go again. Yeah. So we'll let. I'm gonna just tuck this in just a little bit.
Okay.
So it's actually kind of good timing because I was just gonna say, let's say you had to put it down for a little while and come back to it. Let's see. You can adjust that too, but that might be a little better.
All right. Do you want me to go ahead and put it back?
Yes, if you're ready to keep going, sure.
would you mind handing me that
Oh, yeah.
remote thing? Thank you.
It needs a giant magnet on your hand.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you guys should work on that.
I know, really? What have we been doing with our time? I don't know. So go ahead and play this a little bit.
Okay.
And
Sorry, let me just. There we
That's
go. Okay.
yeah, if you
Kinda
feel
get it
like you
settled
need
in
to
my hand.
reset it again, the button that's closest to you.
Yeah, I did just do
You're good.
that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. So do you want me to go back to the 6th episode?
Sure. Okay. So from here, you've been watching, it's
Mhm.
wrapping up,
Mm-hmm.
and you have a little more time, and you want to find and play the movie The Aviator.
The Aviator. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so I'm clicking it up at the top in the corner, and I'm not getting. Oh, there we go. I was
Okay,
clicking
so tell me about what
too
you're doing.
high.
Okay.
Well, I was clicking too high up. I was trying to find back button,
Okay.
and so I was kind of up above the screen rather than clicking directly on it. Great. So I'm clicking on this little menu icon over here. Click on movies. And let's see.
And then what's your strategy for finding the movie?
Well, the first thing I would usually do is search.
Okay.
But I'm not seeing that function. And if I recall, when I use HBO Go at home, I don't think it has a smart function there either. So since it's the Aviator starts with an A, I'll just scroll through the A's.
So when you thinking about following that train of thought a little bit and thinking about search, how would you want that to work here?
With this headset specifically, like with this technology,
Yeah.
it would be nice if there was maybe a search app option up here at the top, and then maybe a little keyboard that you could point to. I think that would be pretty easy, and then maybe as you put letters in, it starts to give you suggestions, so that way you don't have to type out the entire name before you find it.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Okay, I'm just going to recenter this. Okay.
So find a description of The Aviator.
Okay.
And tell me how long the movie is.
All right. It is, sorry, a little blurry, 2 hours and 51 minutes.
Okay, and then what's it rated?
It is rated PG-13.
Okay, and how's that go? Kind of looking through the text.
It's a little blurry. I don't have a hard time reading it, but I have pretty good vision. I feel like other people might have a little harder time with this.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna look through my notes here and see what more I want to take a look at.
Okay.
If there's anything I haven't brought up or anything that's come to mind, you go ahead and let me know what that is.
No, nothing that I haven't mentioned already.
Okay, and let's start for the next one. Let's start from the home screen.
Okay. Oops.
Sorry.
Do you want me to attempt to troubleshoot it, or
I
do
can
you
show
want
you,
to-
yeah,
Okay.
but I can talk you through it if you
Okay.
want to just pop that out.
Not really sure what I did.
That's fine. It was probably a remote. The HBO Go VR one right here. And then you can follow the instructions to get that going again.
And you want me to start on which screen?
The home.
The home screen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And let me know when you feel like you're there.
So just then I actually tried clicking essentially the button on the left side of the touchpad to see if maybe that would back me out one menu.
Yeah.
But it just selected whatever movie I happened to be hovering over.
Oh, I see. Okay. And then what do you see now?
So right now I'm not seeing anything.
Okay.
The screen's just dark, so we'll wait to see if maybe it'll load.
Okay, so this is a good time to switch gears again.
Okay.
So I keep asking you to take the headset off.
Oh,
Let's go ahead and do that again.
All right.
A lot of on and off today. And we'll switch this out.
Okay.
Just right. Thank you. So compared to other sort of VR experiences that you've had, and I realize this is different because it's video and movies, any thoughts on like the quality or just the experience overall?
I guess compared to other VR experiences, the quality is maybe a little bit less, but the VR experiences I've had have been with games, and so it's been with stuff that's like specifically for virtual reality. So I feel like maybe that's where the difference is.
Yeah.
The video quality isn't bad though. I don't know that this would ever be my preferred way of watching something. I could see how maybe with certain genres it might be kind of cool, but for the most part I would probably continue to watch television traditionally and use VR for gaming.
So when you said, before you said that some of the other things you did were sort of built specifically for VR, what are the characteristics or what are the types of things that, like what do you think of when you say that?
The visuals are really based on immersion. Like, you know, you look around and you have this 360-degree view of this world that you're supposed to be fully immersed in. And with video, it's really just the screen that's in front of you. And so I guess that's kind of the difference. Like I said, the home theater thing is kind of cool. That's kind of a neat aspect of it. You know, I put on the headset and I was expecting to just see a show, but seeing like this whole environment, that was kind of neat.
Okay. Okay, we can talk about that a little more if you don't mind.
Sure.
And one last thing I can show you here. So once you put the headset on, like take a look around and tell me a little bit about kind of what you're seeing and your thoughts about the theater that you're sitting in.
Oh, okay, so just kind of look around the room.
Any thoughts on this as sort of the backdrop for your viewing experience?
I think that it's a really good design. It's kind of exactly what you would imagine if you had like a home theater.
And if you could have any sort of backdrop or
Oh, that's funny. The carpet has little HBO circles. I'm sorry. What
It's
were you
okay.
saying?
No, that's fine. It's interesting that you noticed that. Thinking about if you could have anything and it didn't have to be this home theater, what would you want?
As the backdrop?
What would your ideal sort of setting be?
Honestly, this is totally fine. I wasn't expecting there to be kind of any kind of backdrop at all. I thought it would just be like the TV show right up against your face. So something kind of neutral like this with seating or carpet or, you know, a living room, something that would mimic real life would be the least distracting thing.
Okay. So you were saying something, you're looking for something that's not distracting.
Right. You wouldn't want it to kind of feel like its own, kind of feel like a game in a way. You wouldn't want to be so distracted that you're just focusing on exploring the environment and not paying attention to the TV show.
Okay. And if you wanted to change the environment you're in, how would you expect to do that?
With like this motion.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw what I did.
Oh, just explain it to me again.
So just kind of sliding your hand in front of your face. With other VR that I've used that had like different filters that you could put over what you were seeing, the method was kind of going like that, and that seems intuitive to me.
Okay. Great. And if you needed to use the controller to select something to make it happen, how would you want to do that?
I'm sorry, I guess I don't understand the question.
Let's say there was something that was in, built in the interface here on the screen. How would you want to change the environment?
Oh, if I could change the environment with the controller?
Right, as opposed to a gesture.
I guess if there was a menu button on the controller.
Okay.
I did notice that this controller, it only essentially has this like touchpad zone and then these two buttons. I think that if you guys wanted to, you could give the controller more features. Maybe not quite as much as a traditional remote, but you could add things like a menu button or a back button to make things easier, as opposed to having to select where you want it to be on the screen, or if you wanted to bring up a menu of options in front of you.
Okay.
I think people can learn remotes pretty quickly.
Okay, great. So a different idea altogether that the team was exploring is there's a thing at the top there.
Oh, this here?
Yeah.
I was wondering.
What does that look like to you?
Honestly, it kind of looked like the Motorola symbol to me. I was wondering what it was.
And without doing anything yet, and with your understanding of it, what would you imagine might happen if you selected that?
I imagine it would be some sort of a menu.
Okay, so go ahead and select that. We'll talk about what comes next. So tell me a little bit about what you're seeing here.
Okay, so now I'm seeing kind of like a small image of the room that I'm in, I guess.
Okay.
And then I see Game of Thrones, and I see Westworld, and I see, looks like just a sky.
Okay. And what do you think those are there for?
I'm not really sure. I would think that maybe this would take me directly into any content related to Game of Thrones and any content related to Westworld. I'm not really sure what the sky is.
Okay. Okay. Are any of those compelling enough to check out, or would you exit out at this point?
No, I would definitely want to check them out, so I might check out the Game of Thrones one first. Do you want me to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's really cool.
So what's going on here?
So it changed the environment, so now it looks like I'm sitting on the Iron Throne. It's neat. Oh, my boyfriend would love this. So I'd like to check out the Westworld one if that's okay.
Oh yeah, whatever you'd like to do there.
That's really cool too.
So what do you think these are for?
It seems like different environments that you could kind of sit in while you watch a show.
Any thoughts on, if you would change your environment or?
I think it's really cool. I would probably want to click on these and kind of explore the environment a little bit, see if things are affected by me getting up and walking around, or if it's pretty limited. It makes me want to check out all of them, but probably ultimately while I was watching TV, I might want to do either the home theater one or the Game of Thrones one, since the Game of Thrones one is pretty neutral and it feels comfortable since it's kind of dark and there's candle lighting. The Westworld one is in the lab, and so it feels a little uncomfortable.
Okay. And when you think of uncomfortable, what kinds of things are?
It's very sterile. The environment feels kind of cold. There's almost kind of like an eerie feeling, like is maybe characters from the show going to pop out?
Okay.
It's not a bad thing. It just wouldn't be my personal choice for watching the show, but I think there's definitely some people that would really like it.
Okay, great. And then,
do you mind if I click on the last one?
Oh, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, that's kind of interesting too. This one's also kind of neutral. I do like the stars. I almost wish that there were more of them.
Okay. More stars or more?
More, I guess, that the sky itself came down farther. Maybe that the clouds didn't come so far forward so that you could see more of the night sky. Even a little bit of cloud movement would be kind of cool if it was very slight.
Okay. So thinking about all the options, tell me again which was your sort of preferred, or if it's none of these, if there's something else you would prefer altogether.
I'm going to look at this one again.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I like the Game of Thrones one a lot. That's really neat. I like the effect of the Iron Throne. I think a lot of people would get a kick out of that. So of the two, I think I really like the Game of Thrones and the home theater versions the best. But I think all four of them are very cool.
Okay, thinking, so how would you then watch something? Let's say you've chosen the Game of Thrones.
So I would click on this. Okay. Oh, and now the menu looks totally different.
How so?
So it's, instead of looking like I'm watching it on a TV screen in a home theater, now it's just kind of hovering in front of me. And I do kind of like this better. It kind of makes it feel more like a VR experience and makes it different from regular TV.
Okay. So when you say it's more of a VR experience, are you kind of saying as opposed to TV? Or?
Yeah, it does with the home theater version where you're just kind of looking at it on a screen. It's almost duplicating what you would be doing in real life, but this looks different. It's more of an immersion kind of thing.
Okay.
Which I think is really the goal for anybody who's using VR.
Right. So thinking back to that icon at the top that you used to get here, what to you, is there an image that comes to mind or something that comes to mind to you that means environments?
Maybe if it looked kind of like a landscape.
Okay.
Like a very, kind of crude depiction of a landscape, which maybe that's what this is supposed to be, like two little mountains.
Okay. Great. There's one last thing I wanted to have you take a look at. I'm going to do the other mode, so I'll have you pop the phone out for a moment. Now that you've done that, like, I don't know, 8 times. You get an expert.
There you go.
Thanks. Let you close that up.
Do you want me to put it back on?
Yeah, and it'll be pretty quick, and then we'll wrap up.
Alright.
And you may need to reset the view.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah. Okay. So let's say you're watching something here. I don't know if it's possible to play something. I'm gonna go ahead and just start something going.
Sure, I'll just go ahead and click on that.
It may take a minute, but and even if it doesn't. So let's say you're watching something and you kind of want to settle in and maybe recline a little bit. How would you want to adjust your view so that you could see it comfortably while leaning back?
Just kind of there. It actually didn't really change much at all.
Okay.
I guess if it did, I would probably just recenter it with that same button I've been using this whole time.
Okay. How about if you wanted to lean all the way back, like you were in a recliner at home and you hit the button and the feet go up and the back goes all the way back?
I would probably expect that it wouldn't follow me, and then I would have to reset it with that button.
Okay. Okay. So in this case, if we're not allowed to adjust anything on the controller itself, and we have to do something within the environment or within the experience here that you can select and change it, how might you do that?
If I didn't have the controller?
Well, you can use the controller, but there's no special button on there that resets it for you. You'd actually have to make that change.
If maybe I turned this way and I needed to adjust what I was seeing.
Yeah, or even leaned way back even.
Okay.
Like if you wanted to look up in the sky or something.
There wasn't a button on the controller. I don't know. I might try swiping on the touchpad, kind of shift it in the direction that I'm looking.
Okay.
I don't know. I think that button to reset it is very helpful.
Okay. So there's one idea that the team had, and I'll kind of point it out. So if you look at the ceiling a little bit, there's kind of a little icon hovering in the sky or up in the ceiling there.
Yeah, I do see that.
If you select that, it'll kind of just demonstrate the idea.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. Any thoughts on how that goes?
I did see that kind of as I looked up before, and I wasn't sure if that was supposed to be there or if that was a kind of a mirror image.
Okay.
That was accidental. I think that works fine too, but the button to recalibrate it is very handy.
Great. Okay, great. Well, we've gotten through everything I wanted to today.
Okay.
Thanks so much for your time. We can take that off. I have a last little kind of survey that just sort of summarizes what you did today. And if you would, fill it out just kind of based on what you saw today, not what you imagine it to be in the future.
Okay.
And then from the perspective of what you saw from the HBO content inside and less on how well the hardware functioned or the controller functioned.
Okay.
Unless you find that your answer to something was really dependent on the functioning of the controller or the headset. And in that case, maybe you just make a little note on it, just so I know that the controller or the headset or something was a big factor in how you were thinking about it.
Okay.
Thanks. Thank you. Oh, great. Thanks so much.
Sure.
All right. Is that it? Yes. We're all set.
Great.
And